Who's the sound?
Yeah, maybe the AC. You said. No, the
That's from outside. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Let me know when we can start. All right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi wa ba'd. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilman ya kareem. Inshallah, we are going to start Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah is revealed in which era? Who knows? Is it Makki or Madani? How do you know?
That's all rules.
Okay. So that's why it's Madani?
No, it's Makki because the commands, the Sahaba, they asked Prophet ﷺ that they want to hear stories because they're like, they just keep getting commands and commands. And they're
That's Surah that's Surah Yusuf.
Because mostly small surahs are from Makkah and these big surahs from.
Excellent. So it's a Madani surah. Most of the surahs that have a lot of legislation. Don't do this. Don't do that. This is how you eat. Stay away from this. Eat this. Stay. Walk like this. Talk like this. Behave like this. Sleep like this. Get married in this way. Divorce in this. All of those type of surahs generally are considered Madani surahs because they have legislation. And Medina was the time of legislation for Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. Now, coming to Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah has some introductions that we're going to give today. If Allah gives us tawfiq, we'll probably go through some of those introductions. And then if we're able to start the surah, we'll start. Otherwise, it is important that we start with a basic introduction for everyone, inshallah. So, firstly, how many names does Surah Al-Baqarah have? Do you know, and does anybody know any other names of Surah Al-Baqarah? Anybody knows any Surah Al-Baqarah different names? Why is it called Baqarah, firstly?
There's the cow.
Regarding the cow. So there's a story of the cow. Which nation was the story about? Musa alayhi salam or Banu Israel. Good. The second is the surah is also called Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Iqra'u az-Zahrawayn." Read Zahrawayn, the two lights. Okay. So the surah is also called Surat Az-Zahra. Az-Zahra. Alif Zahara Hamza. Okay. Why? What is Zahra? It embodies in it illumination. Your path to guidance is illuminated, and embodies in it hidayah, guidance, and it has azim wa ajrin. It has a lot of reward. Okay. The next surah is called the Sinam, Surat Sinamul Quran. What's a Sinam? The hump of a camel. Okay. And it's called Sinamul Quran because it is the biggest surah of the Quran. It's the most prominent in size. Okay. So it's also called Sinamul Quran لأنه أطول surah. Okay. The next is Surat Al-Fustat al-Quran. Okay. Fustat al-Quran. Okay. What's Fustat? Right? Something that covers you, shrouds you. Okay. So Surat Fustat al-Quran alludes to that Fustat is like a fustan. What do they call it? Dress, like I don't know the woman dress, but it's like a not a bridal gown, but it's like a very fancy evening wear gown. Why is that? Because number one, it is extremely beautiful in its eloquence, the surah. Number two, shrouds all of that which is important for the ummah to understand, and they must know. As a matter of fact, during the time of Imam Malik radiallahu an, Imam Malik rahimahullah, during his time, it was customary that whenever somebody would finish the understanding, i.e., they would have finished memorizing, understanding the rules of it, of Surah Al Baqarah, and now they have become, they've gone through the entire Surah Al Baqarah, they would slaughter a cow and they would do the walima, i.e., they would call up everybody in the Nabawi and they would do a big party, inshallah, after slaughtering a cow. So we will talk to Dr. Asim Kidwai and we'll ask him, when we're finished Surah Al Baqarah, he will arrange for us a cow. We'll also do that sunnah, inshallah. We'll follow the sunnah of Imam Malik and many scholars that came after also followed that sunnah. Right? Again, this was something out of this greatness that we have now accomplished. The Salaf Salihin, they used to say that man hafidha fina Surah Al-Baqarah jadda fi. Whosoever memorizes Surah Al-Baqarah amongst them, for verily he has become, i.e., they would give him a level of a grandfather. I.e., he would be honored in the majlis. He would be considered like a leader of the community. Not like a lot of leaders today that can't even recite Surah Al-Fatiha, right? Sadly, we're in a time where Surah Al-Fatiha, the most essential surah for a Muslim, many of the leaders in every aspect of the community, leading Muslims from communities to different spaces, they can't even recite Surah Al-Fatiha. So sad. Today I was speaking to somebody who is he's retired and he has been a professor for medicine for 36 years. And I was having a conversation with him. And he said, this is the summary of my 37 years of experience in da'wah. Obviously a professor, and he was very active in da'wah. And he said to me that as an ummah, we have neglected the Quran. 37 years, he said, I retired now, I'm 78. But Shaykh, I will tell you my summary. We as an ummah don't have a connection with the Book of Allah. It's so sad, he says, and it is sad for us, for example, on Wednesday night, the church that is up the road, Stone Creek Church, they have 400 cars that show up for Bible studies. Right? And on Wednesday night for our Surah Al-Kahf, you hardly get 40, 50 people. Right? Why is that? Because Quran is not important for us. Right? And when there's serious studies of the Quran, we're even not more interested. But if it's like biryani and like a little bit of story, then everybody wants to come. Right? So may Allah give us hidayah, inshallah, and give us two. So these are the different names of Surah Al-Baqarah. Few of the other introductions that are necessary for us to know about Surah Al-Baqarah. Number one, it has, according to the Mus'haf, it's the second surah, but according to the revelation, it is surah number 87. According to the revelation, it was the 87th surah that was revealed to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it was revealed in Makkah. Oh, sorry, it was revealed in Medina, my bad. And it has 286 ayat. Okay. What is the ultimate maqsad? Every surah has a maqsad. What's a maqsad? The purpose of why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the surah. The maqsad is i'dadul ummah, to prepare the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam bi'imaratil ard, to establish civilization in the earth, i.e., we become the forebearers of leading civilization in this earth. وَقِيَامْ بِدِينِ اللَّهِ, and it cannot be done except on the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَبَيَانْ أَقْسَامِ النَّاسِ, and when we are going to go and interact with humanity outside, it gives us the category of people that we're going to deal with. أقسام الناس. There are going to be munafiqeen, there are going to be hypocrites, there are going to be Banu Israel, there are going to be Christians, there are going to be kuffar. So it categorizes for us all of those categories. So as a Muslim, as somebody who's a reformist who wants to better the society, you must understand these categories of people. Okay? And in it, the essence of Iman, usul of Iman, i.e., everything a person needs to know about their Iman, all of that is mentioned in this. If you want to say if one surah that you need to learn for your Aqidah, Surah Al Baqarah has every ayah and every aspect of Aqidah covered. And last one is وَكُلِّيَاتْ الشَّرِيعَةِ. And most of the ahkam of Sharia for your ibadah, you will also get it in this. Majority of the ahkam for you to live. Right? And that is why Surah Al-Baqarah is considered one of those surahs that, as a community, we should have like year-long courses where people go through the entire surah. Obviously, Umar radiallahu anh, he spent how many years? 10 years. And Abdullah ibn Umar spent 8 years, his son. Right? 10 years. For him, what? And this is not like 10 years. Like, if we were to study the way Umar radiallahu anh studied Surah Al-Baqarah, it would probably take us 100 years. It was Umar radiallahu anh that took him 10 years. If we went on the level of Umar radiallahu anh to follow every ayah to understand, we'll be sitting here, I don't know, maybe 100 years before we get there. So slow is always better, especially when it comes to Surah Al-Baqarah. Okay. Now, the surah, why is it appropriate to come right after Surah Al-Fatiha? What do you guys think?
The guidance that is the first ayah of the Surah.
Okay.
The first ayah of the Surah.
Which is? ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ.
It's like
Okay.
we are seeking guidance from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and right after you can see ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ.
What were the 3 categories of people we were told in the surah? Surah Al-Fatiha. So in Surah Al-Fatiha, we were told, أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ. 3 categories. Okay? The surah comes right after to elaborate on those 3 categories for you. First 5 verses, أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ. The next 2 verses, are the next few verses, entire detail of kuffar, munafiqeen, all of this, Yahud, Nasara, all of that is going to come, and in detail Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to tell us who are these anamta alayhim, who are these ghayr alayhim, who are walad dhalin, how not to be like walad dhalin, how not to be like ghayr al-maghdub alayhim, and how to be like an'amta alayhim. That is what is going to come in the surah. Okay? Now, every surah has a link. Okay? And as we get to the end of the surah, we'll probably understand the link of the beginning of the surah and the ending of the surah. May Allah give us the tawfiq to go through the entire surah in our lifetime, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Okay? With that, there are certain ahadith that talk about the virtues of Surah Al-Baqarah. One of them is that a house in which Surah Al-Baqarah is recited, right, that shaitan cannot establish their foothold in that house. Now, do you have to recite it yourself? There's a ikhtilaf if you even play it. I've found people that have benefited by just playing Surah Al-Baqarah. We generally have a habit that if we're going for like 10 days or 15 days, hey Alexa, put Surah Al-Baqarah on loop. Okay, so Surah Al-Baqarah, just keep playing and playing and playing and playing. And usually, because if your houses are empty, they become a place for shayateen to come and go on. But if Surah Al-Baqarah is playing on all of your Alexas outside, the Quran dispels all of those shayateen and all of the evil spirits. The second is, Prophet ﷺ said that this surah, tarkuha hasra. If anybody disowns the surah, disregards the value of the surah, then that is going to be remorseful for that person in life. Okay? وَأَخْذُهَا بَرَكَةٌ. But if you hold on to it and you try to understand it, then your life is going to be filled with barakah. And only, Prophet ﷺ said, the batala, i.e., people who are like heroic and courage, only the courageous people have the ability to actually go through this entire thing. May Allah make us inshallah. Right. We start the surah. Again, we're going to do the first part, which is the sabaq. I will recite part. We'll do the tajweed together first, then we'll go to the translation, and then we'll go to the tafsir of it, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم. So there's a ghunna there. ألف لام ميم. Right, not the ghunna in terms of like it's like you're pronouncing that nasal sound of the meme connection. Okay, not the full ghunna the way we have it. ألف لام ميم. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. هدى للمتقين. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. هدى للمتقين. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل. الذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل. والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل. والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل. وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون. وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون. أولئك على هدى من ربهم أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. There's a textual mistake in here in the Quran. So on the, that's what I was trying to figure out. So bima and wama and the next wama, all of them, they have a madda on them. So the mad sign is missing on that. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا, there's a mad on top of that. أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا, there's a mad on that too. In قَبْلِكَ وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ, that's the mad that is missing. The rest is fine. So you can put a mad on there just so you know. Bima, on bima, there's a mad sign. And on wama, there's a mad sign. If you know what a mad sign is, alif lam mim, there's a mad sign on top of that. Okay? So that's why this way, when you're practicing, you remember that there's a mad over here. 'Cause I was reading and I was like, I know it right. There's no way this is right. And my brain was like, this is something wrong here. Okay? So there's a mistake in there. Okay, we'll stop over here. For those of you that are new, just the way we do this is, so it's very simple. We expect maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day of effort. But if you put that every single day, it adds up, right? My sheikh used to say that your connection with the Quran and your understanding of the Quran is not a journey of 2 hours in one day, but rather 10 minutes over 10 days. Okay? It's that 10 minutes consistently, 15 minutes. I just made some of the brothers put on their alarms on their phones so you remember what time you want to read. And it is a commitment that you're going to have, just like your medicine, just like your phone call, just like when we have some important flights. We have, we put an alarm on the phone and say, put a daily alarm, figure out the time that works best for you. And there are going to be two things you're going to do. One is 10 minutes of recitation. So we will give just enough sabaq that you guys will develop 10 minutes. The way you do this is it's about listening. Every single phone has the Quran app. You all have the Quran app. In the Quran app, if you don't have those apps downloaded, Husna can help you, Brother Hanifa can help you. You download them and you put it on repeat every ayah 10 times. So for example, this sabaq, up to 5 verses, every ayah 10 times, and the entire set of ayahs 3 times will take you, I think, 11 minutes. Okay. The reciter you want to follow are the 2 reciters. This is the note you want to take. Abdullah Basfar and Khalil al-Husari. Those are the 2 reciters. Any of these 2 reciters, because they enunciate every single syllable and letter so clearly that you don't have any mistakes. Okay? Now, are you going to become perfect in 10 sessions? No. But if we keep on doing and if we keep on listening to that 10 minutes every day, 365 days later, you will find yourself in a different place. Okay? And for those of you that have done advanced Tajweed with me in the masjid, you know what I'm talking about. Right? You could not even listen to your own recitation. By the way, I have those recitations. I can play for you guys if you want to. The mistakes that people had. Even some of you were able to find mistakes in other reciters very quickly, because when you listen, like, wait a minute, that's not how I have heard it. This sounds not. You may not know the rules, but you're like, this off. It doesn't sound like this. It sounds different. Quran was always learned through listening and a teacher listening to you. The rules of Tajweed and stuff came way later. And they have a place for it, but not now. The second part is going to be the translation, which we're going to do. And again, the request from everybody is spend 10 minutes. It could be any time, at any moment in your life, whenever you have time, preferably after a salah, whether it is Zuhr Salah, Asr Salah, Maghrib Salah. Take a time, make sure your Sibara, your Quran is there with you, and you're going to repeat the sabak 10 times, which means like you're going to follow Alif Lam Mim, Dhalika, that, Al-Kitabu, the book, no, La Raiba, no doubt, fihi, in it, Hudan, guidance, للمتقين, for those who adopt taqwa or God consciousness. الذين, those يؤمنون, they believe بالغيب, in the unseen, ويقيمون, and they establish a salata, ومما, and this will take you 10 minutes to read. One minute to read the 5 verses, maybe 10, 12 minutes for you to finish 10 times. But you repeat this 10 times every day. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a cognitive connection with words that we see with our eyes and how it sounds. Now, where the unlock happens is when you are maybe in the second juz. Towards the end of Surah Al-Baqarah, you will start picking up more, like 60, 70% of the Quran. Your brain is going to be like, oh, I understand that. I've never read, I understand that. Oh, I understand the entire surah. This is so amazing. And your brain, and maybe one or two or few words you will not understand, but you will start picking up the gist of what is being said. Okay? Inshallah. So we'll do the word to word, and then we'll do a short tafsir of that, inshallah. Alif Lam Mim, Alif Lam Mim. Sorry, I'll start from here. Surah Al-Baqarah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم. ألف لام ميم. ذلك, that. الكتاب, the book. لا ريب, no doubt. فيه, in it. هدى, guidance. للمتقين, for those who adopt taqwa. الذين, those who يؤمنون, they believe. بالغيب, in the unseen. ويقيمون, and they establish. الصلاة, the salah. ومما, from what رزقناهم, we provided them, ينفقون, they spend. والذين, and those who يؤمنون, they believe. بما, in what أنزل, it was sent, إليك, to you. وما, and what أنزل, it was sent, من قبلك, before you. وبالآخرة, and in the akhirah, and in the hereafter. هم, they يوقنون, they are certain. أولئك, those, على, upon, هدى, guidance. Min, from, ربهم, their Rabb. وأولئك, and those, whom, they, truly, المفلحون, are those who are successful. Now, some basic word analysis and trying to make some connections of what we have already learned. Alif Lam Mim, Alif Lam Mim. These are called huruf al-muqatta'at. I'll come to the tafsir of that. Zalika, that. Okay. Zalika, that. That is generally used for something that is far away. So why use something far away for something that is near you? It should have been hada, this book. It's there with you. But I was like, Zalika, that book. Beautiful. So one meaning is it is referring to the original kitab, Lawh al-Mahfuz, right? In the protected scroll. That's where the original version of this is. Second meaning of Zalika is that this book, it may be next to you, it may be in your hand, but the status of this book, the high elevated status of this book, it is alluding to that status. That yes, this is with you, but Zalika al-Kitab is something very high in its status. Zalika, it's so high in its status. Yes, it's with you, but it's in status. Don't get deceived. It's not like you. It is way high in its status. How do we know that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if Allah was to have revealed this Quran ala jabalin, what would happen? لَرَأَيْتَهُ خَاشِعًا مُتَصَدِّعًا مِنْ خَشْيَةِ اللَّهِ. It would have scattered and it would have shaken and trembled and cracked out of the fear of Allah. Okay? Al-Kitab, the book. The word Kitab, the root word of this is Kataba. Right? Just if you want to write those root words on top, it will help you in other parts. Kataba. Kataba. The word kataba, a kata'ib is a group of horses. Kata'ib, a group of horses. And when the group of horses are running, and when they are running, and when they get so constricted, we say iktatabatil khaylu. The horses have constricted themselves into a very tight knit section. And from there, the different pages of the book that were scattered, they all came into a kitab, i.e., the, the collection or the constrictment of various different pages into something. That's where the word kitab or kitab comes from. La rayba fihi, there is no doubt in it. In Arabic language, there are a lot of words for, there are lots and lots of words for shak and doubt. There is shak, there is rayb. What is the difference between shak and rayb? Rayb is a doubt that makes you lose your a doubt of such nature that it makes you lose your sleep. Okay? It makes you restless. Okay? Something happens and you hear about this and you're not really sure. Sometimes you hear a news, you're okay. But sometimes the news is so severe and serious, you lose your sleep over that. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't know if I got the job. I don't know if this happened. And you're in that state that you sometimes lose your sleep over that doubt of what uncertainty of the outcome that's gonna happen. That is right. So this kitab has no raib in it, i.e., you're not going to be left uncertain after you read this book. Fihi in it. Then there is guidance lil muttaqeen for those who are conscious, i.e., God conscious or God taqwa. Muttaqeen. Yeah? Sorry? Sorry? Oh, shak is just any doubt. You have any doubt. Raib is like a doubt of that degree that allows you to lose your rest. It makes you restless and lose your sleep. Now, hudan, guidance, it's the same word. Where do we learn this word? Hudan. We've done it before. Huh? Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. That's how you're going to create connection. Ihdina, not a new word. Okay? Ihdina, not a new word. Okay? Hudan. Lil muttaqin. Lil, for the word lil, for al-muttaqin. Al-muttaqin is our consciousness, and the root word of muttaqi is what? Taqaw. Huh? Taqaya. Wow, qafiya. Good. Waqaya. Waqaya. Wiqaya. Protection. And taqwa is to place a shield or a protection between yourself with good deeds and the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the definition of taqwa. So that's waw, qaf, ayn, waqa'a, wuqu', wuqu' shay. Good, good. Okay, waqaya, المتقين. الذين, did we read الذين? صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. الذين is already done. This is not a new word. يؤمنون, they believe. Okay. Did we do amana before? No, we haven't. Iman. The root word is aman. Hamza, mim, nun. What is iman? Iman is a state, a state of a person's heart. When you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are at peace. Why? Because iman provides you that sanctuary, that security. Whatever happens in this life, it's good for you. What did Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say? Ajaban li amril mu'min. How strange is the affair of the believer. All the affairs of a believer are good. If it's difficulty, then he is patient, and if it is happiness, he is thankful. Okay? So iman is the root word of aman. Hamza mim nun. Yu'minuna, they believe. Bil ghaibi, ghaib is the unseen. What's the root word of ghaib? It's pretty easy. Gha ya ba. Ghain ya ba. Root word is ghain ya ba. Okay. وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ. Do we do this? وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ. Have we done this? Root word. مستقيم. Okay. يقيمون. What is the root word? Huh? Qaf waw mim. Okay. Istiqama. Yuqimuna. To establish. Same root word. Okay. I'm making these connections so you understand that these are things that not new, but you're just seeing a new form of the same word. As-salata, salat, wa mimma, and from what? Razaqnahum. Mimma is two words. Min, from, ma, what. And because of the two sakin connecting, the noon was changed. And now you don't see the noon. And now the noon disappeared, but the sound of the noon was left. So that's why you say mim, ma. Okay? So the noon has just disappeared. That's all you need to know for now. Noon disappeared. وأدغمت النون وأقلبت النون ميما. مما. أدغم, sorry. أدغم. ومما, and from what? رزقناهم. What's the root word of رزقناهم? Who knows? It is very easy. رزقا. We all know this word in Urdu. We've heard this in Arabic, many other languages. ينفقون. This is a new word. Okay? ينفقون is what? نفق. نفقا. Root word is nafaqa. What's a nafaq? Munafiq. Munafiq is from nafaqa. Good. And what is a nafaq? Nafaq. No, what's a nafaq? Huh? Tunnel. Tunnel. Yeah, so the apricots are from there, right? Nafaq. Okay. What is a tunnel? It has one entrance and it has one exit. Two different entrances, right? You can enter from here, come out other. What is a munafiq? He is one thing, one face. But when he goes into a tunnel to another person, he's a different face. Munafiq. Similarly, yunfiqun, money comes to you from one angle and you give it out from another angle. Yunfiqun, they spend. What do they spend? Prophet ﷺ said what? He said, a believer, when he spends, his right does not know what his left does not know what his right spent. This is actual infaq, i.e. money came here, you went there, your left hand doesn't even know what you gave. Okay? I.e. money comes and it doesn't sit with you. You are a tunnel for the money. That's the literal meaning. Right? Yunfiqun. And the second meaning of the second thing is yunfiqun. This is a little bit of grammar, but inshallah we should be okay with this for now. This is this a verb? Yunfiqun is it a verb? They spend. What they spending is action or no? Okay, good. You read the English. It's a verb. It's a verb. And it is a present continuous tense. The verb is present continuous tense. Okay? It's a present continuous tense. What does that mean? That means that there is consistency in their actions of spending. They are habituated in their spending. Mimma razaqnahum, whatever Allah gives them rizq, whether it is what? Whether it is money, whether it is time, whether it is their ability to teach someone something. Whatever they have, they give. Okay? Walladina, and those. Again, alladina came. So there's a lot of words here that are repeat. Alladina, yu'minuna. Did we do this? Yes, repeat. Bima, in what? Unzila. The word unzila, what's the root word? Nazala. Okay, unzila, nazala. Ilayka, to you. Wama, and what? Unzila, it was sent down. Min, from. Qablika, before you. Wabil akhirati, and. So there's three things happening. Wa, ba, right? In al akhirah. Three things there. Wa, ba, al akhirah. and in the hereafter. And in the hereafter. Okay? If you wanted to highlight that, you could do that. وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ they يُوقِنُونَ. They are certain. Did we do yuqinun? Have we done yuqinun? No. Okay. Yuqinun. What's the root word? Yaqeen. Yaqana? Good enough. Waqana? MashaAllah. Qaf. Qanun. So if it's illa, the center is going to be huruf illa. Okay? What is it? Is it yaqan? Okay, go ahead and that's your homework. Find the root word of, I think it might be here at the back. I hope it's not, because then it'll be a good exercise for you guys. Yeah, they've not mentioned it here. So good. Good for you guys. Find out, huh? I don't know. We'll find out about it next week. Okay? Yaqeen. Is it yaqan? Is it okay? Is it yaqan? Is it aqan? It is waqan. It is qeen. I don't know. We'll see. Ulaika, the meaning is certainty. Okay? Ulaika, those. Ala, upon. Hudan, guidance. We talked about this. Hudan. Ulaika, those. Ala, upon. Hudan, guidance. Min, from. Rabbihim, their Rabb. New word? No. Did we do the Rabb before? Where? Good. Rabb. Same word. Rabb. Wa and ulaika, again repetition. Hum, they, again repetition. Al-muflihun, those who are successful. What is the root word of muflihun? Falah. Falaha. What's a falah? A farmer. Falah is a farmer. Okay? So here's your homework. What is the connection between success, muflihun, success, and falah, a farmer? You should be able to find this very easily. The connection between falaha, the root word of falaha, and hint, hint, I would read Haynes' lexicon. Okay? Lane's lexicon.
They succeed in farming.
Huh?
They succeed in farming.
They succeeded in farming, possible. Okay. Jamil. All right. So was that clear for everyone? This sabaq is very easy because there's a lot of repeat words, a lot of ma, wa, ba, ulaika multiple times, and then there are a few new words here. And many of the new other words are in a new form, but you already know them. Okay. All right. We'll do the tafsir part of it.
I think they're chasing the guy.
He's probably gone too far. Okay, طيب. Now we'll do the tafsir part. Bismillah. Huh?
The guy that was speaking.
It's okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alif Lam Mim. Alif Lam Mim is huruf al-muqatta'at, right? The disconnected words. Okay. If you ever look at the entire Quran is revealed in a format of connection. It's all connected. It's wasal. Okay? So if you open any surah, pick up any surah from the Quran, you pick up any surah and you go to the end of that surah. It says, for example, Surah Zumar, وَقِيلَ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Alameen, there's a fatha on there. الحمد لله رب العالمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Even if you read من الجنة والناس, it says من الجنة والناس. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So the entire Quran was revealed in a connected circular wasl. It's all connected. Except the huruful muqatta'at. Okay? Except for the huruful muqatta'at. Why? Because we don't come and recite alam. We say alif, la. We say the names of those alphabets absolutely perfectly separating. We don't say alif, la. We don't join them, right? Aliful lam mim. We don't do that. We say alif lam mim. Each word we announce separately. Okay. So these are called huruf al-muqatta'a, i.e. they create a disconnect in the Quran. The entire Quran is connected and they come and they cut it up, i.e. they break the sequence of that wasl that I told you about, that the entire Quran is there. The second meaning of alif lam mim is nobody knows. The second thing the mufassirs, they say, we don't know the meaning of that. Okay. The third, they say, is that this is the greatest mu'jiza of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How? How does this tell us that he was the true prophet? He couldn't read and write. So a person who can't read and write, two people, one can read, one cannot read. You look at an animal and you ask the person who can read and the person who cannot read, what is that? The person who cannot read is going to say, this is a cat. The person who can read is also going to say cat. But now you say, can you spell it out? The one who is lettered, i.e. who is able to read, he will be able to say C-A-T, cat. But the one who does not know, he'll say cat. I don't know what cat is. Ka-a-ta, cat. Ka-at. That's all he knows. Similarly, Prophet ﷺ, he could not read and write. So he did not know what alif is. He did not know what lam is. He didn't have the announce. He couldn't pronounce these letters. So this is the mu'jiza, that the same letters, when they come in Surah Alam Nashrah, Rasulullah recites, Alam Nashrah laka sadrak. When they come over here, he says, Alif Lam Mim. Alam, same letters. Alam Tara, Alif Lam Mim. But over there, he recites the word Alam. But over here, he breaks it up. That's a sign that he is actually a true prophet. Because everybody in Makkah knew that he can't read and write. Everybody was aware of that. The fourth meaning of this, the fourth part that we need to learn about this, is there are things that you will not understand in the Quran, but Allah will still reward you for it. Alifun harf, wa lamun harf, wa mimun harf. Hadith. You will get the ajr for alif, you'll get the ajr for lam. So there are going to be things that you're going to recite in the Quran you will not understand. And it's okay. And that's why Allah starts it off with, this Quran is going to have things in it that you're not going to understand. But your lack of understanding will not deprive you of the reward. The next point is every single faculty of our acquisition, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed a cap on it. Okay? Your eyes can only see thus far. Your ears can only hear so much. Which animal has a more stronger sense of smell, a dog or a deer? Dog or a deer? Dogs? Dogs? Deer. A deer. A deer's sense of smell, a dog, I mean, there's a measure that you can measure the sense of like how strong. So human beings are like at I think we're like at 13,000. I forgot the metric that is there to smell. Dogs are at 200,000. Deers are at 3 million of that metric. Deers can smell a human being that had crossed that trail up to 2 days. Up to 2 days. They're able to walk in the trail and they'll jump They're like, there was a human being that was there. Okay? So every faculty of ours has a limit. Our hearing, a polar bear can smell a prey from 2 miles in the snow. It knows that there's a seal sitting on a it's drifting on a snow, a broken snow piece, and it knows that it's there and it can head in that direction. Okay, so every faculty of ours has. Our hearing has a limitation. How do we know that? Right? My physics teacher had this tool. He cranked up the sound, so he went like, and he kept cranking up the sound until one point your ears stop hearing. That doesn't mean that there is no sound. We had the microphone, and the microphone was picking up the sound. You could see that the sound is there. But literally, you're sitting there and your ears don't hear the sound because it's outside of the frequency range of your hearing.
That frequency will not harm your.
After that frequency, you're not able to hear.
No, but it's not harming you.
No, it won't, because it's like Allah's capped it. So your eardrums won't even vibrate to that frequency. Right? Subhanallah. Yet, elephants can hear subsonic waves. And they can communicate with one another for miles and miles apart. And we can't even hear those sounds. Okay? So, whales, right? Yeah, but we can still hear their sounds. So the point being, every faculty of acquisition has a limit. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts off the Surah Al-Baqarah and tells you that your brain is also a faculty of acquisition, and that has a limit. There are going to be portions in the Quran you will understand, and there's going to be portions you're going to have to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it starts off by humbling you that this same Alif Lam Mim, in this surah you will not understand, but in Alam Tara Kaifa you will understand the meaning of Alif Lam Mim. Okay? And amongst that, there are 19 other opinions about what this means. And we're not going to go into the meaning of that. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ, that kitab, i.e. referring to the great status of the Quran, or referring to Lawh al-Mahfuz. Al-Kitabu, the book, لَا رَيْبَ فِي, there is no doubt in it. Now, to address the concerns of the Orientalists that this Quran has discrepancies in it, because Quran was not in the form of kitab at the time of Prophet ﷺ, then why mention ذَلِكَ الْكِتَاب? The answer for that is it is referring to the book that is in that Lawh al-Mahfuz, and we know that it is in a form of a book, okay, referring to that. And the mu'jiza of the Quran is that during the life of Rasulullah, it was not into the form of a kitab, but at the time of Abu Bakr, it got into a mushaf, and at the time of Uthman, 7 copies were made, and we have till this day those copies. Okay, those copies. Okay, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, there is no doubt in it. This can be read multiple ways. You can stop at la rayba and the meaning changes, or you can stop at fihi and the meaning changes. So the meaning is ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ, this book has no doubt. فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, in it is guidance for muttaqeen. That's one meaning. The other meaning is ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, this is a book, there is no doubt in it. Then what is in it? هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, there is guidance for the muttaqeen. Okay, there is guidance for the muttaqeen. Remember last time we talked about guidance. Guidance is of 2 types. Guidance of ilm and guidance of amal. Okay, Hidayatul Rashad wa Hidayatul Tawfiq. That's the word we used. I.e., Allah can give a person guidance of ilm. Hidayah is of ilm and hidayah of amal. Hidayah of ilm is what? Allah gives that to a baby knows how to suckle. A non-Muslim baby and a Muslim baby and a Christian baby and a Hindu baby, every baby knows how to that. That's knowledge. That hidayah is am. How to eat, how to satiate your thirst, how to know when you're in pain, how to communicate that pain. All of that, standard. Hidayah of amal, this is special for believers. Or sometimes Allah will guide other people that are not believers into hidayah of tawfiq, i.e. towards Islam. And that is, wallahi, this is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You and I, we have very little to do with guiding someone. We may want to, but we don't. Okay? Hudal lil muttaqeen, this is guidance. Which type of guidance over here? The guidance of tawfiq or amal. I.e., there is guidance in it, guidance to do amal, but that guidance is for muttaqeen. I.e., if you desire and if we work hard to get into the ranks of the muttaqeen, then acting upon this Quran becomes a lot more easier for us. Alladhina, who are these muttaqeen? What is the definition of these muttaqeen? The first thing, alladhina yu'minuna bil ghayb. The first condition that qualifies us to be a muttaqi is we must believe in the unseen. We must believe in the unseen. Because our belief in the unseen, the first element is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ghaib, He is ghaib, right? He is mawjood, you can see all of His creation around you, but He is ghaib. You're not physically, you can't see Him. Okay? So the first condition is that believers, muttaqeen, have a quality that they have yu'minuna bil ghaib, they have iman in the ghaib. If Allah is there, al malaika is there, and what are the 6 things we have to believe in as part of our iman? Allah wal malaikatihi, malaika, the angels, wa kutubihi, the books. Did you see Injil being revealed? Did you see Torah being revealed? Well, we believe in it. Okay, malaika, did we see the angels? We didn't, but we believe in it. Malaikati wa kutubihi wa rusuli, messengers. Did we see any of the messengers? No. 25 messengers mentioned in the Quran. Did we meet any of them? No, we did not. We believe in them. Ghaib. Okay, what else? Wa rusulihi wal qadri khayrihi wa sharrihi min Allah. That qadr, Allah has a decree. Our iman is good or bad. It comes from qadr. It is a decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And wal ba'thi ba'd al maut, and the resurrection after the death. All of these are ghaibiyat. Our iman is predicated on ghaibiyat. Where we have an issue with the next generation or the current generation is we don't talk enough about iman. We don't talk about these 6. We always say 5 pillars of Islam. There is a prerequisite to the 5 pillars of Islam, which is the 6 pillars of iman. If the person doesn't have the 6 pillars of iman, the 5 pillars of Islam are going to be of no value to the person. And when parents talk about my son is or my daughter is not following the 5 pillars of Islam, the issue is in the 6 pillars of iman. What is their belief in Allah? What is their belief in messengers? And then especially messenger of our messenger, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What is their belief about him? Those things, when they become fortified, the 5 pillars and the practice of it becomes very easy. الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ. Okay, and they establish prayer. Iqamatul salah entails multiple things. Number 1, Iqamatul salah means to establish the prayer with all of its arkan, all of the pillars of what is required in the salah. I.e., when they establish the prayer, they don't miss out on the key movements that are necessary for the salah to take place. Number 2, Iqamatul salah means all of the shurut, all of the conditions that must be met. Your clothes are clean. You're praying at a clean space. You are facing Qibla. All of those, your clothes are covering you what they're supposed to cover. All of that are met. The third part of Iqamatul Salah is, as Imam Ghazali says, it's the Iqamah of Salah in your heart. That you're present when you're praying. It's not like Allahu Akbar, okay, tomorrow I have this task and I have to go do this and have that. You know, you're trying to just knock off Isha so you can, get to bed so that you can be prepared for tomorrow. Okay? And last thing, Iqamatul Salah is Jama'ah, Salatul Jama'ah. Okay? All of these aqwal of the Salaf exist. Okay? وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, and from that which we have given rizq to them, they spend. And this is referring to not necessarily money. Anything that they have, they can share with others and others can benefit. Anything of benefit that Allah has taught you and you did not know, you can share with others is rizq. Jamil? وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ. And who are the muttaqeen? They are those who يُؤْمِنُونَ, they believe بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ. They believe in this Quran. i.e. أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ, this Quran that has been revealed to you, O Prophet of Allah. وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِن قَبْلِكَ, and what was revealed before you. وَبِالْآخِرَةِ, and the key quality of a muttaqi is وَبِالْآخِرَةِ, and in the hereafter, whom they yuqinun, they are certain. They have no doubt about akhirah. Right? We have numerous examples of our pious predecessors, our Salaf al-Salihin, where their yaqeen in akhirah was so much that they could viscerally actually taste and smell akhirah. The yaqeen reaches that level. And I do this example and I tell people, how is that possible? Right? Once I made a milkshake for my mom and my sister. This is before I was married. And we made the milkshake, and after they all drank the milkshake, right? This was the days when I was, playing varsity sports, and before protein shakes became a thing. You would do what? What would you do for a protein kick in your shake? Eggs. Crack an egg, 2 eggs, and you're good. Raw eggs in your thing. You know what I'm talking about. Eggs was the protein thing you had. And that was a normal thing within the high school kids. Like in the 90s, that's what you did. Like, bro, I'm having a banana shake with eggs. It's a normal thing. It had an aftertaste, but you got used to it. So I gave the milk to the milkshake to my sister and my mom, and all I said was this statement. I said, how amazing milkshake tastes with raw eggs, right? I didn't say anything about the milkshake. I just made a random statement. And their yaqeen reached a level, there was no eggs in their milkshake, but they believed that there was eggs in their milkshake. They started puking, they started tasting it in their mouth. Just because they convinced themselves, and they're like, I can taste it, bhaiya, I can taste it. It's in the mouth, right? And that's what yaqeen does. Anybody knows any example from Sirah of a Sahabi where he tasted Jannah?
Oh, the person in the Bible almost became Shaheed, but he didn't. And then he saw this lady come with a jug of water.
No. إني لأجد ريح الجنة وراء الأحد. So Rasulullah was sitting with a Sahabi, and a Sahabi, he said, leave me. I can smell Jannah behind Uhud. فقام فجاهد فاستشهد. He got up, he fought, he became a shaheed. Because he told Rasulullah, I can smell Jannah behind Uhud. It's there. I can smell it. Because their yaqeen reached that level. May Allah grant us that yaqeen, right? So, وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ. They have this yaqeen. Ibn Taymiyyah used to say that an insan, you will never taste the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you have not tasted the Jannah in this world. I.e., your yaqeen reaches that level and your connection with Allah that you taste the sweetness of that closeness to Allah in this dunya. Okay, he used to say there is a Jannah for believers in this world. If you haven't tasted that Jannah, what is he referring to? He's referring to the closeness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your connection with Allah that leads to the sweetness. Dr. Ghulam Murtaza Shaheed, he used to say that, and he used to say this in Urdu, कि, कहते थे, Allah का ताल्लुक इतना बेज़ौक है कि आपको taste ही ना आए. The connection with Allah is so tasteless that you can't even feel it and taste this. It's impossible. So Ibn Taymiyyah used to say, there is a Jannah for the believers in this world Whosoever does not taste it in this world shall not taste the Jannah in Akhirah. What is he referring to? That you must build that visceral connection of yaqeen in this world. May Allah grant us that. أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَىٰ هُدًى مِّن رَبِّهِمْ. These muttaqeen are the people that are upon their guidance. Hudam, they are upon guidance. مِّن رَبِّهِمْ, from their Rabb. That tells you, you can put in the effort. We can put in the effort. يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. But at the end of the day, we have to seek that Allah places us on that hidayah. Sometimes we can do the actions, but actions with the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as hidayah. Allah is like, أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَىٰ هُدًى مِّن رَبِّهِمْ. These muttaqeen are upon the hidayah of Allah. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. And these are the ones that are going to be truly successful in this dunya, because Allah will free them of all the worries. They will be connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so they won't have any sorrows. Anything happens to them, they're able to cope with the difficulties of this world. And in the akhirah, they are going to be the truly successful ones. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us success in akhirah. اللهم صل وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبارك اللهم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نسألك أن ترزقنا تلاوة القرآن آناء الليل وأطراف النهار. اللهم ذكرنا منه ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا وارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وأطراف النهار على الوجه الذي يرضيك عنا. اللهم يا الله، اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا بما ينفعنا وزدنا علما يا كريم. اللهم إنا نسألك في هذه الليلة المباركة أن تصلي على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حبيب المصطفى يا رب العالمين. اللهم صل وسلم على نبي الأكرم نبي الهادي يا رب العالمين. وصل اللهم تعالى على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. بارك الله